Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Last week, Donald Trump tweeted that he would shortly be issuing awards to recognise the most dishonest and corrupt media. He said subjects will cover dishonesty and bad reporting in various categories from the fake news media.
Well, he's due to hand out these awards today, but they've already been postponed once. It's still unclear exactly how the president intends to make his point when he does. Our US correspondent Mark Austin reports now from Washington.
It is carved in stone here, a freedom America cherishes. There is even a shrine to journalism, a museum where children can see the best of it.
President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central.
But the very foundation of American democracy, free speech, is under attack from the highest office like never before.
And I want you all to know that we are fighting the fake news. It's fake, phony, fake media.
The news is fake.
Fake news. And it's frankly disgusting. You are fake news.
It is open warfare, and Twitter is his chosen weapon. He uses it to vent his obsessions, to rage and to sideline journalists, enemies of the people, he says, with dwindling credibility.
Republicans, Democrats, Independents have lost faith in the so-called mainstream media long before Donald Trump became president of the United States. And that issue is something he's capitalized on and driven harder than any other American president.
Can you give us a chance?
Your organization
You are attacking our news organization. Can you give us a chance to ask?
Trump's contempt for CNN and its White House correspondent Jim Acosta is clear, and the feeling is mutual.
Don't be rude.
Good afternoon.
It plays out daily in the White House briefing room.
And then he tweets about it. Is that what happened this morning, and does that go on?
I'm sure you're disappointed he's not watching CNN.
And what's it like to be in the gun sights of a president?
Well, we don't have to worry about whether we're liked. We have to come in here and do our job every day, and our job is to hold their feet to the fire and try to get some truth out of the White House.
Elizabeth Drew, in her 6th decade of president watching, thinks Trump's strategy is to delegitimize a media that threatens his version of events.
Trump lies far more than any president ever. I mean, lies all the time, every day. I mean, you've seen the statistics, they're stunning. So the job of the press is to check him on these things and say, well, no, actually, rivers don't run up and down. They run sideways, whatever it is. So that's the press doing its job, and it's highly inconvenient for him.
We're making tremendous progress, tremendous strides.
But Trump insists, rightly, that he's confronted by an unsympathetic, liberal-dominated media. He says they're the purveyors of untruths. So this White House has effectively become a battleground between a dismissive president and a largely outraged mainstream media. The big question is, where and how will it all end?
Here's this underpinning that
John Roberts of the Trump-supporting Fox News believes the key will be the Russian investigation.
much of the reporting has always had the undercurrent that this president was up to something, that something was wrong here, that maybe something illegal happened. And if that is resolved favorably for the president, that may begin to change the tone.
But many White House journalists believe it is much more fundamental than that.
Credible journalism will always outlast incredible politicians. If what the president says isn't true about us or anything else, time will win out. Time and facts will win out.
Mr. President, did you say that
there is one unalterable truth here? It's that neither side seems prepared to back down.
You want people to come in from other parts of the world where there are people of color?
Out.
Mark Austin, Sky News, in Washington.
Well, joining us from Washington now is Jesse Burns, a political reporter for the website The Hill. Good afternoon to you, Jesse Burns. President Trump's made no secret of his disdain for the mainstream media. Let's start with that point that Mark Austin was making in his report, that he describes the mainstream media as the enemy of the people. Is that a message that's getting through, do you think?
Well, as that report demonstrated, I think there was obviously some distrust among the American public for media. I'll be the first to say that the media's popularity among the American public is, not very great. But what Donald Trump did was, when he entered office, was kind of poured petrol on it and lit a match, this kind of criticism of media and going after it in such blunt terms. We haven't seen that from an American president before, especially the contrast from Bush and Barack Obama. And so that is certainly something where he has come in and had that attack dog mentality from the very beginning, and he's tried to use it to rile up his base and to fight back against critics.
Yeah, and we've got the Arizona Senator Jeff Flake due to be making a speech this week in which he's going to compare the president's words, where he describes the mainstream media, the press, as the enemy of the people, to those of Stalin, and saying that the free press is the despot's enemy. I mean, Trump has certainly made it his enemy. What does that tell us?
Yeah, I think we're seeing increasingly more and more members of the president's own party, like Senator Flake, come out and openly condemn the president for his attacks on media, trying to stick up not only for free speech, but also try to stick up for some type of balance in government. When you have someone who is outspoken as Trump going after members of the media who are kind of viewed as this fourth branch of government, trying to hold the president and lawmakers accountable, it's very it's very difficult for lawmakers who value the checks and balances in the American system of government to see the president try to defame and go after members of the press in the way that Trump has.
Does the president have a point, though, where he would suggest that the 12 months in office has exposed a media that at times acts more like an opposing party, trying to bring him down at all costs?
Well, I think whoever is in power, obviously, it's the job of press to try to find areas where that politician or that government official is maybe there's something wrong or there's something that they need to be held accountable for. Every administration, you would hope, would have that kind of accountability. I think the interesting thing with Trump is that even before he became president, he was openly combative with the media, and he was trying to make the media a foil for him, especially after the election ended. He needed some type of opponent that he could punch back at, someone that he could use as a verbal punching bag for his base that they would appreciate, and he's turned to the media increasingly as that. That being said, I mean, there are times, Trump loves media, he loves press attention. As the White House press secretary said yesterday, this is the Trump show at the White House, and so anytime that he's in the spotlight, even if he disdains certain members of the media, he enjoys the coverage and the attention, at least, that he's getting.
He loves media, in particular social media, and his Twitter feed. Do you think too much attention is paid to that Twitter feed at times by the media and neglecting some of the key issues, the real issues that should be focused on?
There's certainly the opportunity there for the president to try to send out some type of inflammatory remark that then gets more attention than the actual news of the day and the policies that his administration is trying to implement. That being said, I think we're seeing something that we've never seen before, a person who is the most powerful person in the American government now, in the world, trying to announce and oftentimes make formal announcements from his own Twitter feed and making actual news. Sometimes we don't have his senior aides there, with him, trying to control exactly what he says, and so that kind of unvarnished reputation he's tried to cultivate with his Twitter feed, it's certainly, I think, an opportunity to get information directly from the source, as he has oftentimes said.
As a journalist, how do you cover Donald Trump? You talked about his approach to the media as being unprecedented.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very difficult in the sense of sometimes there are certain things that he says that maybe is in kind of contrast to what members of his own administration are saying. He obviously has his own opinion on every issue, and sometimes that opinion, there's some dissonance there with members of his party who are saying, no, I don't think that's the right direction we should go. At the end of the day, he's president, and members of the Republican Party who do control, Washington, both houses of Congress here, they need him to sign bills that they would like to pass. And so there's definitely some tug and pull with them, and that kind of contrast that we see, the infighting oftentimes that plays out on over his Twitter even, that is, you know, it's public, it's right there for everyone to see. And so sometimes journalists are in the same boat as just the American public in general.
OK, Jesse Burns, thanks for talking to us this afternoon.
Thank you.